So what is David Pakman actually seeing? I believe it's probably fake accounts. Now that the election is over, the fake accounts that were being used to prop up his channels to make it look like there was support for the left are no longer being funded properly, and they're shutting down. I don't know that that's true. I'm just saying it like this. During the election, the left wants to make liberalism and leftism and these politicians look prominent, and they use bots to prop accounts up. Once the money is gone, because they're massively in debt and they've lost, poof, the followers are gone.
In this clip, Tim Pool takes on David Pakman, and it's a takedown of woke victimhood at its finest. Pool shows us exactly how Pakman has been begging for sympathy and donations and complaining about losing followers after Trump's recent victory. Pakman's frustration about his shrinking subscriber base does not sit well with Pool. Get ready to watch as Tim Pool mocks the desperate appeal for cash while calling out the hypocrisy in Pakman's worldview. Be sure to give us a like and subscribe, really helps out the channel. Let's dive in.
This is the video where David Pakman is talking about the collapse of the left. It's 7 minutes long. I don't know if I'll play the whole thing, and I've not heard what he has to say, but we're going to play a little bit because I'd like to get an unfiltered view of what leftists, liberals think is currently happening after Trump's victory.
I'm going to tell you something that is terrifying me.
It's that mustache.
I always try to come here and put a positive face on everything, but there is something going on that is terrifying me. When I woke up this morning, we had lost 5,000 YouTube subscribers compared to where we were last night. Now, the first thing I thought was, is this a glitch?
Oh, a glitch, he says. Yeah, a glitch called reality check. It's incredible how these progressive channels panic the moment their artificial support starts crumbling. They've built their platforms on fake engagement, and now they're wondering why their followers are vanishing once the funding fades. David, maybe it's time to face the music.
I've been on YouTube for 15 years or something like that, and subscribers always just go up. They just never go down. They go up. Is something wrong with my channel? Is someone attacking my channel?
Well, something is wrong with your channel. It's the misinformation.
I think it's the content.
Going on. So I started texting. And I texted Brian Tyler Cohen. And I texted Tyler Cohen and Brian Cohen and Brian Tyler, all of them. I texted all of them. I texted Jesse Dollemore. I texted Luke Beasley and Farron Cousins and Sam Cedar. And every single one of our channels since last night is hemorrhaging subscribers.
Wow.
What is it
Saying
that is
screw it,
going
I'm
on?
out.
Here
Bro, why
is
would you
a
admit
graphic.
that?
Look at this
for 2 seconds?
Look at this tiny little eep.
I just want to mention that, and keep that chart up because it'll help me make my point. This is the scumbag who, after Christian children were murdered by a trans shooter, was joking about it on Twitter, saying, oh, I guess their prayers didn't work. That was the attitude he had about little Christian kids getting killed.
Yeah.
And then he loses 5,000 subscribers, and look how somber he is. Oh, this is horrible. I try to put a positive spin on things, but this is just too much for my little heart to bear.
I think it's fake. I don't think the left is real. I sincerely believe this, and I'll tell you why. When Elon Musk announced that he was going to purchase Twitter, what did we see? Overnight, somehow, channels that were associated with the right saw massive gains in follower count, and on the left started bleeding subscribers like crazy. There was no legitimate explanation for the massive shift other than they had their thumb on the scales, and once they found out they were facing an internal review or an external review, they took the thumb off. Same thing happened again when Elon formally took over. Once again, prominent personalities like these people started losing tons of followers. My theory was that social media companies know I forgot what it's called. It's an internet law that any sufficiently unmoderated forum will become right wing. I don't know if it's 4chan's law or something like this. And so I believe that what happens is these big social media companies are like, hey, look at X. It shifts to the right. Look at YouTube. We have to go in there and force it to be middle of the road. Which basically means we're going to ban conservatives and prop up liberals. So Dave, what is David Pakman actually seeing? I believe it's probably fake accounts. Now that the election is over, the fake accounts that were being used to prop up his channels to make it look like there was support for the left are no longer being funded properly, and they're shutting down. I don't know that that's true. I'm just saying it like this. During the election, the left wants to make liberalism and leftism and these politicians look prominent, and they use bots to prop accounts up. Once the money is gone, because they're massively in debt and they've lost, poof, the followers are gone. I believe that component is that David has been misinforming people.
Tim nails it. When the funding dries up, so does the support. It's telling that Pakman's followers disappear the moment they're no longer being manipulated by algorithmic favors. This whole loss of subscribers just shows how manufactured the support was in the first place.
And they realized it last night when they said, how am I in the minority? I thought we were going to have the popular vote, at least, even if Trump won. They realized I'm on the wrong side of history, and these people are genuinely terrified of being on the wrong side of history. That's why the activists chant on the streets to police officers and small businesses, you're on the wrong side of history. So what do you think a liberal who's scared of that is thinking when they wake up and said, David Pakman is the wrong side of history and he led me astray?
I think that that it's just a matter of people are kind of realizing that men can't become women. And the left has been leading people astray. The left doesn't have policies that people like.
But you know what really hit him too? I mean, I agree with that, and I think that was so glaring to a lot of people. But even beyond that, Trump won the popular vote, which doesn't matter legally, but it matters because it took away the one big talking point that they had. Well, this is the real democracy was, no, actually most people voted for Trump. And then the fact that black men disproportionately voted for Trump and Hispanics disproportionately voted for Trump and even women started moving. Because of that, what are they supposed to conclude? There's no good oppressor narrative anymore on any front. So I think in as much as they are capable of introspection, I think they had to come to the conclusion, yikes, maybe I've been looking at this a little bit wrong.
I am interested to hear what he has to say further.
I heard anecdotally from a couple dozen people who said, David, I just can't do it anymore. I just can't do it. I'm checking out. I'm out. Bye. And the reason that this is terrifying, not only because it puts everybody in left-wing media's livelihoods at stake and at risk, it terrifies me because our instinct is the opposite of what the right does, and we will get crushed if this is the way we respond to a defeat.
Hear, hear.
The right wants us not to exist. The right wants to decimate independent progressive media.
No, they don't.
And so when I lose 5,000
support free speech,
Brian
can I
loses
just point out, this guy's got 2.64 million followers and he lost 5,000 and he's having a breakdown over it.
Yeah.
I have told you guys this. You watch the show. What did I say? Whenever you see a YouTuber make a video where they're like, oh, woe is me, I'm so miserable, you can usually look at their numbers and see like they lost subscribers or viewers or something like that.
I agree.
I got a cup you can cry into here.
Should we send it over?
And bring a
I think it's embarrassing, dude. It's embarrassing
and
when
everybody's
right-wingers
losing
do it
thousands
too.
of subscribers. Understand that when the right loses, they get organized, they fund, and they create insanely effective organizations like Turning Point USA.
Here we go.
Investing in the Daily Wire and building out this huge network of right-wing ideas and influencers.
This guy's making a lot of sense.
If you're feeling burnt out,
Maybe I'll subscribe.
I encourage you, take a break until the inauguration. It's months, okay? Mental health break, do it. But when we start canceling the subscriptions,
but don't take my money away.
An algorithmic desubscription spiral right now, because when people start unsubscribing on YouTube, YouTube thinks, oh, we probably shouldn't recommend this content because it's generating a lot of unsubscribes.
Right.
So then the content doesn't get recommended.
Yeah.
And then the message doesn't get out. And then next election, they win by even more.
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
So
there's one thing he said that's not true.
Understand
a lot
the instinct. But if we cede ground to
They crush us everywhere. Pakman is setting up this classic victim narrative as if the only reason the left could lose is due to some all-powerful opposition, not their own failures. But listen, blaming the opposition instead of analyzing where they went wrong is just another way to avoid accountability. The right doesn't crush them, they just outplay them by getting strategic, organized, and doubling down when they lose. The left's oppressor obsession isn't landing anymore, and it's finally starting to show.
them. They crush us everywhere. Now, we're up against a MAGA Supreme Court potentially till 2050. We'll talk about that later. We're up against a completely uninhibited Trump. I actually have an entire chapter in my forthcoming book, The Echo Machine, about exactly this. It's the introduction. In the introduction, I explain how it's disgusting to me. It's disgusting. To me
Oh, he's selling his
that when
book
you
now.
engage in politics,
He's losing subscribers.
first you've got to convince people climate change is even happening. You can't just find solutions because half the country doesn't even accept the science of vaccines.
You have to.
David, I just want to mention when the people who are claiming climate change is happening by beachfront properties that are supposed to be underwater in 20 to 30 years, it's really hard to trust them.
It's rich of him to fearmonger about Daily Wire and Turning Point USA as though they have more influence than the media dominated by the leftists.
Yeah.
CNN, MSNBC, the Young Turks. It's a
Well,
really,
I'll tell you what.
The Daily Beast. I could go on all
make
day.
the point in the book that if you actually care about the world for ourselves, children, grandchildren, other people, families, friends, people we care about, when you
not Christian
disengage
kids
because
who
they've
get
gotten
killed.
so
Yeah.
extreme, you cede ground to them and you say, do whatever you want. I'm disengaging, do whatever you want. And we really can't do that, okay? So my request to you today is,
Give me more money.
please resubscribe to the YouTube channel.
Oh, man.
All of a sudden,
Here it is, folks. David begging for followers back. He's realizing that without the fake boost, his content can't stand on its own. It's almost sad. If I weren't so hypocritical, he demands support while simultaneously mocking anyone who dares disagree with him. Pakman's problem isn't Trump or the right. It's that his own audience finally sees through the charade.
in 12, 14 hours, the entire progressive media ecosystem is under a threat I have never seen before. We've never seen anything
I
like
love
that.
how
And the
his-
threat is accountability.
I love how his rationale is you only subscribed because you are tired, not because you dislike me.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
let
exactly.
me tell you that I learned this when I was a kid. The opposite of love is not hate; it's indifference.
Yeah.
And what you learn is, David, if people don't love you and they're indifferent, they don't unsubscribe. They just leave and they say nothing. But if people are unsubscribing, it sounds more like they hate you.
Comment down below your opinions if you agree or disagree with a lot of the points that were made in this video. This one was pretty funny and interesting to say the least. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.